Hey everybody, welcome back to the next training module. This training is regard to the CIM. So what is the CIM? It's a confidential information memorandum. Now what this CIM does for you is it really does two things. It's going to help you and it's also going to help the potential buyer get over hurdles that are needed to really get that interest going in selling your business, all right? So in this course, we're gonna go over the actual CIM in full detail and what parts are important and why. We're also going to be going over when do you send this CIM, and finally, what it has to do with your overall outcome of the sale of the business. So let's dive in. Now, as you know, this is coming from the Legacy Broker Academy, and it's there for you to break down and feature what you want and really make it custom to your specific business that you belong to. All right. So again, it's really made up as far as the beginning page to match your brand and what you're doing and where you're at. Okay. As you go over this next page, which is the table of contents, we'll break it down into a few different categories. The overview of the business, the equipment assets, the growth opportunities, the competitive analysis, the seller's reason for sale, next steps, documents, and broker. So when you see this, what this means is that when you're able to send this to a potential buyer, you're gonna be able to answer 90% of their questions. And it's gonna help you field a lot of calls and not waste any time on your end to keep going over and over and over on this. So a good CIM is going to save you a lot of time. So make sure you do your work from the beginning so that way when it gets to this point, you're already ready, set to go. All right, now let's go over these in full detail. Now, when you're listing a CIM out, you really want to put the business overview. This is where you get everybody excited. Talk about what this business is. Talk about the future, maybe the industry itself. In general, just overall, if you were going to buy this business, what would you want to know about it in the overview? You can talk about cash flow. You could talk about revenue growth over the past 5 years. Anything that you want to highlight here that's going to catch the attention, I would almost say that this portion is also what you would put in your market listings out there on the web, so that way you can really catch that attention very quick, okay? Now, you're also going to always list the equipment assets. Again, if it's any business that has any assets, whether it's real estate, whether it's inventory or anything, make sure it's listed here in full detail because that adds value immediately off the start, okay? Now, going to the next one is the growth opportunities. This is, again, it depends on who you're selling to and where, but really most of them want to know what they can do to contribute to this business and its growth. So really this is the list here that you want to put on here as far as all the opportunities that you can have. Some examples could be extend zip codes and really take outside businesses based off the city and the development. It could be digital technology. It could be owner's investment. It's been absentee for a long time. Now it's time to get an owner back in there to refuel the business itself. It could simply be needs new leadership. Whatever it is, these are the growth opportunities that you want to invest in as an owner that's buying this business so you know what you're getting into. But make it exciting. Make it something where it's going to make them go, wow, I can do that based off my industry that I'm currently in. This is something I can really get into with this business. Now, going on to the next page, it's going to be essentially your competitive analysis. Honesty is king with everything, right? You really want to say what they're up against. Sometimes they may have any competition, but they could be a restaurant that has the same concept and there's 5 of them within 5-mile radius. Be honest about it. The business is there for a reason and it's successful in its own way. If you're afraid of competition, then you're probably shouldn't be buying a business to begin with, right? You should always be worrying about your competition and what you're doing. And the biggest competitor should be yourself in business, because if you're not trying to beat what you're doing yourself today, then someone else will. So be your own competitor. And that's something I would definitely display here in this message, okay? Now, one of the biggest questions that anybody's gonna have as a potential buyer is, why are they even selling it if it's successful? Or why are they even selling it at all? And there's gonna be legitimate reasons, and the always default is owners retiring. But you need to remind these potential buyers that, hey, look, there's a lot of people retiring right now, and that's a normal cause. So the other ones could be essentially ready to move on into the next business. This is another famous one. I'm ready to sell and move on to the next business. Be more specific. This is the part where it says, this owner has been in this industry for 15 years. They're looking to expand and get into a different industry and list that industry, XYZ. The more specific you are here, the more people are gonna believe the truth, right? It could be the owner's retiring. It is what it is. But say why the owner's retiring. Say that they want to give the business a little bit different of a boost and they just don't have it in them anymore to do it, all right? Be really specific here, okay? Now, the next part is really the next steps. Essentially what that means is going to be the buyer's next steps after they've read this, okay? And this is where you could set this yourself. It's gonna be different. Some people have different preferences, but again, essentially it's really the same. But again, if you wanna move some of them, you can. But the next steps are to simply schedule a meeting with the actual, the broker itself, which would be you. Really sit down and have a meeting with them, talk about it, answer any other questions. I would bet probably 70% of people that read a CIM will probably not ever call you, and expect that expectation. They've gotten what they needed to know and they're moving on to the next opportunity. But the ones that do call, you've outlined the next steps are very specific, okay? Now, it could be go ahead and submit an offer. It could be gain financial approval. It could be anything you really wanted to do, but it's up to you to put the next steps there, okay? And make it custom to you and your business. Now, finally, the documents. You can get really advanced with this. It could be also very simple and you don't want to let them know anything because of confidentiality. But I've seen QR codes that lead to certain websites that have their business website, their profile, if they want to disclose that. I've seen QR codes that have led to P&Ls, different asset links like their social medias and different things like that, if they want to display that in this CIM. Again, completely up to you and the potential seller, all right? Now, finally, making business transactions happen. This is your profile page. Put your accolades here. How many businesses you've sold, what you're into, maybe the specific niches that you're after. If you're selling hair salons, put that on there. You will say, for example, Austin's #1 broker for hair salons. Whatever it is, really get in there and put what you are and what you're about and the ways to contact you, okay? Now, in conclusion, the CIM is going to help you be able to save time. It's going to make the buyers be able to get to know the business without having to ask all these questions and take a phone call and time up themselves. They could be 8 o'clock at night. They can look at this themselves and not really have to take your time either. So it's a win from a time standpoint, but it's also a hurdle. If someone wants to read through this and ask some more questions about it, that means that they're interested. And that means that they are a great person to start getting in contact, getting qualified to buy this business. So this concludes the CIM. If you look at the links below, there's going to be different attachments and examples of other CIMs. If you're able to take a look at those and have any questions, of course, please let us know through the support channel. But we're looking forward to seeing your CIMs out there. Talk to you soon.